Hey guys, Asker here from Breakfree Trading. I hope you had a really good week. I know a lot of people make good money on X mode, and also strategy mode trades played out very well. AUD CAD is an example. Now, guys, I'm here today to introduce the second generation of RTD, and it might look a little bit scary and a little bit confusing. So I just want to put some ground rules out there so everyone understands it right off the bat and understand what it's doing and how to use it. So RTD consists of a local and a global. And what that means is that we have a local reading on the current trend on what the market is doing right now, and then we have a global trend of the market is what it's been doing for for a long time. So for example, here on SPX, we can see we had a global uptrend since 24 April, and just now it is slowly coming to an end. Meanwhile, we had this uptrend. You can see that the local, which is moving above, has had multiple pullbacks, which all have been perfectly fine because they've all been above the global. They've just been pullbacks into the trend, just like pullback into support, which is basically what this is. You can also see it as a support. But once the local starts trading below, once the local starts trading below the global like this, that's where you get your first warning sign. It is possible for it to trade temporarily below without really damaging the trend. But as an example, you can see over here on SPX, before the sell-off with the covet, you can see that the first thing we saw was really that the RTD local registered the sell-off before it even happened. But what happens is that it dives so deep through the trend that we very easily can tell something is wrong. Of course, we know this was the COVID situation and so on, but it wasn't that obvious to people at this point here that this was something that was going to continue down. I mean, people expected more downside. I expected more downside, but not that fast. But what RTD would be able to tell us was that the trend had already collapsed. You can see the global trend here already on 26 February, already here it crossed down. So now we have local trading below global, and global has crossed from bullish to bearish. That is bad. That is as bad as it can get, which is what we saw. It was a complete meltdown. It was kind of insane. And that is what we could get from this reading. The local was trading bearish, as you can see from the red color, and it was below the global trend, and the global trend changed into a macro downtrend as well at the same time. It's as bad as it can get, which is exactly what was going on. So that's how to read it, guys. Let's look at this one more time, right? So what you have in front of you looks like this. And this is where you can see, right now you can see that the local trend is trading below the global trend. That's bad. That means that is bad in all ways. The global trend is also trending into a bearish trend now. That is bad as well. But the only good news is that the local trend has just crossed up into a bullish trend. So that means we can probably expect some bounce to play out here. But if SPX want to continue much higher than it is now, it really got to put some force into it and reclaim. First of all, this has to push above, so it's trading above the global trend, and the global trend has to trade into a bullish territory again. So there's a lot of recovery to be done for SPX. So could probably short this next week successfully, intraday, maybe even a swing trade. It is SPX. It is pumped by Federal Reserve money, so maybe it's better to short a single stock for this downside. Remember, again, this is an index. It gives us an idea of what is happening across the Fortune 500 companies, right? So let's take another market and go through this one more time so everyone has understood what it is. Let's do BTCUSD. Okay, so this is a great scenario because we have a couple of different situations going on here, so I can explain them all to you. First of all, Bitcoin consolidating a lot here. You can see that the global trend is coming to an end, and then there's a cross up. That was the first indication that this market is going up, and then we have the macro trend, the global trend crossing bulls as well. And then you can see we have these pullbacks during the uptrend, which are all fine. to buy, you would be buying here, you would be buying here, and then eventually we start to see the local trend start to trend bearish down again, and it goes below the macro trend, and that's where we get our first sign. This is not good news, and you can see pretty quickly after the global trend also changes from bullish to bearish, and that is where we have a bearish downtrend, local trend trading below the macro trend, and it's all bad news. And this is of course the corona situation again. But what I wanted to talk about is what followed next. As you can see that RTD is identifying a local bottom around, what is that? That is somewhere around March 18, and then it starts trending up. It's still technically in a downtrend, but it starts trending up, and it's telling us that it's doing pretty well here. The trend compresses completely, and then we get a proper relief bounce or whatever you want to call it. But what I want you to see here is what happens here. This is what we call sideways. This is flatlining. And flatlining is something that happens when a market has no trend and it's just going sideways, and you don't really want to be engaged in this market at all because there's no volatility and it's doing nothing. It can go either way. So you don't really want to deal with this. And that is what you have here, where you can see local alpha, local beta, and global alpha and global beta. Everything is just lining up, trading in the exact same place, and that means there's nothing to do. Go find something else to do. Eventually it crosses bullish again and it moves up, and we have the pullbacks, and then we have the cross below the macro trend again, which tells us this is not good, and global trend crosses into bearish territory as well. So this is where we are, and right now it's a little bit tricky because it has to figure out, well, where does it want to go. Global trend, macro trend, whatever you want to call it, is saying down. Local trend is trying to build something here, but it's not looking too healthy. So most likely this is gonna come further down. Let's go find another market. As the last market, guys, EURJPY. All right, so EURJPY, long downtrend on the on global RTD, with occasionally pullbacks, but nothing that really is interesting and gets above the global trend. So it's very weak. You can see here, that is your first sign. Okay, it's attempting, but it gets a pretty harsh rejection. And then here, we get a massive candle May 18 telling us something is going on. RTD local already bullish, and then slowly the global is following, and we have to push up. But what I want you guys to see here is how good local trend identified at the top, because already on June 8th, this very candle, it tells us, okay, we're heading down again, and indeed we are. And this is the best, in my opinion, trend detection system I've seen in my life. The algorithm that is used behind this to measure this is really good, and I like how this is displayed. I hope you guys will like this as well. So one last time, global trend, uptrend. We have a local trend is an uptrend as well. Local is trading above the global. That's great. Probably if Euro doesn't die completely, maybe there's a chance for EURJPY to do a little bit more here, but it's definitely not time to short this market yet. If you want to short this, perhaps go look at EURJPY, which we instantly just can tell. We can just tell what's going on here. The global trend has crossed bearish. The local trend is trading below it and is bearish as well. Probably got more room to go here. Probably will go down here before we see the bounce, is my expectation. So as always, guys, the way to use this in your trading is to trade the levels and not get caught up in chasing markets or doing all these mistakes. This update we did here on Navigator also comes with a context menu where you can now save your chart or clear your chart, or you can go to settings. And as you can see up here, we have place order and repeat order grayed out currently. I will leave that as a clue to what comes next. And again, I'm very happy to introduce this, guys, because it's been in the works for a really long time. Finding out everything about how to calculate the best possible trend, how to deliver it in a user-friendly interface, how to make something that's useful and doesn't cluster your screen. If you don't want it, it's completely okay. You can just turn it off. I saw some people that complained a little bit about maybe it was slow on replay. It's possible. It's possible that this could delay your replay a little bit because it needs to do the calculation as you are running it, and that can be a slight delay from our server to calculate this for you. Guys, thank you so much for staying with us. We have another really big update coming to you very soon, and I think there will also be a video next week on me trading gold, making $2,000 in Navigator, just trading solely on Navigator, and it works really well. And this is something you guys will be able to do as well very soon. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can just leave them below this video. I will try to get to them. And have a great Saturday, guys.